Hi and welcome to the Market Alert for Monday, the 19th of December 2022. So Friday, hawkish Fed and horrible data hammer stocks, bonds and a black gold bounce. And hawkish Fed ECB sparks, biblical negative delta flow, heavy CTA selling and ODTE specs evaporate. It feels like something happened, operationally speaking, post FOMC. So that's the news for Friday. News for this week, well, there's nothing really. As I said last week, we had the two major news items. The market's going to have to make its own direction during this week, which is likely to be to the upside, I would have thought, given that we're having the run-up to Christmas. I'm not expecting an awful lot, and probably by Wednesday, you will see the market volatility more or less evaporate, which would be wise to call it a day for this week and also for this year, but we'll see how the markets go. Tuesday there's no news, despite the fact we got a bit of German news today. Wednesday, consumer confidence for the US 3 p.m, and then just a bit more on Thursday, and then core PCE on Friday, so not a lot, and that's forecast to come out the same. Again, more or less all the forecast and previous the same there as well. So yeah, I'm not expecting a lot. Gold-silver ratio up to 77.52. Gold and silver for the week really remaining flat as the markets coped with all of the economic news that we had last week, CPI and FOMC. Right, let's have a look at Friday's trading session and see what happened and what to expect during today's. And we'll kick off with looking at the Dow Jones. So in the Dow, well, we were down again on Friday, but narrow range, the volume more or less the same, so we've got a bit of support coming in at the 50 EMA in the daily chart. You can't have more or less the same volume and not actually make a longer bar, but this indicates that there was a bit of support during Friday, despite the fact that the market was down in the pre-market. Then we've got the cash opening and the market down once more, but fighting back overnight, which you can see coming back to the DP above the close, above the 20 bar moving average. Anything in the way on the upside is the 50 EMA, but then you've got a clear run apart from psychological levels to the R1 and Friday's high. In the German DAX, also significant volume, about 90% of what they had on Thursday, but the bar wasn't as low, sitting at the 50 EMA there, and bouncing off this in the daily chart. Down in the initial part of the session during Friday, the market then bounced up to the low. The low became a resistance level. We then had a dip down, back up a retracement there of 89% before the market dropped down. We then had an 89% on the downside to find that support there, with the market putting in another one there and then moving back to the upside. Just like the Dow, the overnight market is just above the DP, but it does have the 50 EMA in the way there on the upside and a couple of psychological levels back to the high and the R1. We're about 120 points to Friday's high at the moment for the DAX. In the 5-minute chart, you can see overnight the market is finding that support, stuck in a bit of a channel there. And Friday's activity, you can see here, we started moving lower in the futures market, then the cash market opened. We were already at the 200 MA, and then the selling came in, had a bit of a reprieve, and then the market just moved lower, and then eventually came back mid-morning. And then in the afternoon we had the Dow open and the DAX follow there. So Friday session 25146, 1594 profit factor, and we had 78.22 for the win-loss ratio. For the whole week it was 183496, 4.95 profit factor, and we've got 5941 win-loss ratio for the week. In the S&P, there's the demand, as you can be seen there, bouncing a bit on the overnight there as well. In the 30-minute chart, down in the pre-market, then the official market, and then back up in the evening. At the moment, this isn't above the DP like the Dow and the DAX or the 50 EMA, but a similar picture, R1 and high on the upside there. What was surprising was to see the FTSE 100 move down as sharply as it did during Friday, considering all of the carnage the day before where it barely moved. Sitting at the 200 and the 50 EMA, a pivotal area for this market. And in the 30-minute chart, you can see the sell-off there, but the market finding support at the S3, where it does 90+% of the time, and then the market moving higher. Just like the S&P, it's not above the 50 EMA or the DP at the moment, but trying to get above the close. The high is over 100 points away for this market, and in between this, it's got the R1 and the 200 MA as well. In the currencies, the yen bouncing back to the 78% retracement there. In the daily chart, in the 30-minute chart, we move lower to begin with, down to the S3. Again, 90% of the time the market will find support there. That's what we see. Market was oversold. The market bounced, putting in a double top, stopping at the 50 EMA, and the S1 has now become a resistance. And then we see the market moving back down, and then we've got support in all of this area here, where the market is held at the S3. Again, 90% of the time the market will hold at this level. Overnight the market has gapped, but the gap has been filled twice, but the market's still looking a bit weak at the moment and needing to hold at the BRN and the S1. The pound also sideways to lower on Friday, but heading down towards that 200 MA where it's finding a bit of support. Again, note the volume is more or less the same as the previous day, but the range is narrower, so that means that the buyers must have been supporting the market. In the 30-minute chart, we move down sharply, taking out the low of Thursday. Then we come back up, we pull back again, and then we have another look and create a triple top. Market then came back down after the Dow opened and the news on Friday, and then we sit at the close. I've come back to the psychological level there of 122, and then back down to the DP overnight, and we're just bouncing off that at the moment as we're oversold and we have a bit of demand in the market there. In the dollar index, we've got the market. This is the 30-minute chart. Let's just have a look at the daily. We'll kick off with that one first. So on Friday, we can see that we had some buying there. Overnight, the market is sideways to lower for the US dollar. Not a lot else to report there, sitting at that 104 level area. And finally, in the metals, we've got silver showing some demand there for Friday, trying to hold very much down on the overnight. We look at more detail on Friday. The market sold off initially, then the market was brought back above the 23 level, and then the high there as well of Friday also being breached overnight, but the market pulling back to the DP at the moment, so it's oversold. We had some selling followed by some buying, some short covering coming into the market there. And gold sideways as well, back above the 200 MA, which is good to see. And in the 30-minute chart, the market just moving up nicely, not as choppy as silver was during Friday's session there. So the market sideways, having already come up to Friday's high, the market found a bit of weakness and has moved lower down towards the 50 EMA and the psychological level of 1790, which is this red line here. So the market trying to hold above that at the moment. Okay, that's it for this one. Like I say, a quick roundup of Friday and what's going on today, but like I say, don't expect too much this week as we head into the festivities. Right, that's it from me for this one. As ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.